From a YouTube star turning down a PGA Tour invite to Ryder Cup drama that turned into an international circus, to one guy whose name instantly starts a rules war, these are the 10 most controversial figures in modern golf, counting down from 10 to 1. Let's get into it. Number 10, Fat Perez. Fat Perez isn't controversial because he broke a rule. He's controversial because he's a symbol of where golf is heading. He's one of the breakout personalities from the Bob Does Sports YouTube universe, where the whole point is entertainment, buddies, banter, big reactions, and golf that feels more like hanging out with your friends than watching a broadcast. That formula has pulled in a massive audience and made Perez a recognizable name in golf. And that's where the controversy comes from. Not scandal, but friction. Some fans love it because it makes golf feel fun and accessible. Others can't stand it because it feels like golf is turning into content. So when people argue about Fat Perez, they're usually not arguing about his swing. They're arguing about what golf is turning into. And once you get that, number 9 makes perfect sense because he's a creator who didn't just represent the shift. He challenged the old system directly. 9. Grant Horvat. Grant Horvat's controversy didn't come from a blow-up. It came from a single decision that made golf's new reality impossible to ignore. In July 2025, Horvat said the PGA Tour offered him a sponsor exemption into the Barracuda Championship, and he said no. Not because he was scared of the stage, because his whole brand is built on filming golf the way YouTube likes it. Close, personal, behind the scenes. And under tour rules, his crew couldn't film his competition round like that. The second he turned it down, the argument became this: who actually owns golf content? The tour and its TV partners want tight control inside the ropes because that's the business. Creators look at that and say, this is not how the sport grows now. So Horvat became the face of the clash. Some fans respected it because he refused to do it without his audience. Others thought it was insane to pass up a PGA Tour start. Either way, it's a perfect snapshot of where golf is right now. Now, moving on to player number 8, Wyndham Clark. Wyndham Clark is controversial because the talent is real, and the headlines have gotten messy. At the 2025 US Open, Clark damaged lockers at Oakmont. Oakmont confirmed it, photos got out, and Clark publicly apologized afterward. And it didn't feel like an isolated moment. Just a few weeks earlier, at the 2025 PGA Championship, he apologized after throwing his driver in frustration, a toss that reportedly nearly hit a volunteer. That's why he lands on this list. Not because he's the sport's biggest villain, but because when a major champion has 2 straight majors tied to apology headlines, fans start watching him differently. And if you think that's tense, the next guy doesn't need headlines to look angry. He's built a reputation for it on camera. Number 7, Tyrrell Hatton. Tyrrell Hatton is controversial for the same reason he's entertaining. You always know exactly how he feels. Most golfers keep it buttoned up. Hatton doesn't. If he hates a shot, he'll show it. If he's furious, the camera will catch it. A good example was the DP World Tour Championship in Dubai in November 2024. After a bad approach, he slammed his club into the turf and snapped it. The DP World Tour said it breached the code of conduct and that he'd be fined. And Sky Sports' Ewan Murray criticized it on air, calling it a terrible example for younger players watching. Then at the 2025 PGA Championship, Hatton had another hot mic moment when a frustrated, foul-mouthed rant got picked up on the broadcast and immediately made the rounds online. That's why Hatton lands on this list. He's controversial because his blow-ups are loud, they happen on big stages, and they become the clips people replay online. Now, number 6 on our list is Taylor Gooch. Taylor Gooch made headlines with just one word: asterisk. He basically said this: if Rory ever wins the Masters to complete the career Grand Slam, but some of the best LIV players aren't in the field, people will argue the win comes with an asterisk, and that's why it caught fire. He wasn't talking about Rory's performance, he was talking about legitimacy, about whether major history still feels complete when the sport is split in two. If you're a LIV fan, you hear Gooch and think, fair point. If you're a PGA Tour fan, you hear it and think, he's just being bitter. Either way, he hit the big question. Golf can't escape. Is this still one sport or two separate worlds now? And that tees up the next controversy perfectly, because the next guy didn't even have to say much. The Ryder Cup turned a rumor into a full-blown storyline. Number 5. Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay's Ryder Cup controversy is a perfect example of how fast a storyline can outrun the facts. At the 2023 Ryder Cup in Rome, Cantlay didn't wear a Team USA hat. Then reports surfaced claiming it was a protest about Ryder Cup players not being paid. The story exploded. European fans started waving hats at him in the crowd. Golf media dubbed it Hatgate. Cantlay denied it was a protest and said the hat simply didn't fit. Team USA captain Zach Johnson backed him up publicly. That's why Cantlay lands on this list. Not because we can prove what was in his head, but because one small detail turned into a global debate about money, pride, and what the Ryder Cup is supposed to represent. Now, from Ryder Cup rumor drama to the kind of controversy that actually split the sport in two. Number 4. Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm is controversial because when he joined LIV, he instantly became a headline in golf's biggest ongoing fight. This wasn't a journeyman making a last payday. Rahm is a major winner in his prime. So when he left the PGA Tour world, it sent a message. Some people looked at it and said, this is just about the money. Others said, golf is a business, and players should take the best deal they can. Either way, Rahm's move pulled him into the center of the PGA Tour versus LIV argument, and now every big moment with him gets viewed through that lens. Now, if Rahm is controversial because of one huge decision, the next guy is controversial because of his personality. He can start drama without even trying. Number 3. Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka is controversial because he's been at the center of golf's two biggest recent storylines, the Bryson feud and the LIV split. First was Bryson. The rivalry simmered, then blew up at the 2021 PGA Championship when Koepka's on-camera eye roll at Bryson went viral. After that, it wasn't just a feud, it was a circus. Press questions, social media clips, and fans chanting Brooksy at Bryson so often that the PGA Tour had to step in and warn spectators. Koepka didn't even have to do much. A short comment here, a cold look there, and the story would light back up. Then he joined LIV, which immediately put him in the middle of the PGA Tour versus LIV war, and the twist is, he didn't stay put. In early 2026, Koepka returned to the PGA Tour through the tour's returning member program, with reported conditions including a $5 million charitable contribution and the loss of certain tour benefits for a period. So, to some people, he seems practical. To others, he's the perfect example of how messy modern golf has become. And now we hit number 2 on this list. 2. Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson is controversial because he treats golf like a science project, and he doesn't care who that annoys. From day one, he leaned into the scientist identity. Same-length irons, endless data, and interviews where he explains a wedge shot like he's defending a thesis. But that obsession comes with consequences. He's taken heat for slow play for years, and once the Koepka feud went mainstream, Bryson stopped being just a player. He became a character, viral clips, constant questions, and fans heckling him at tournaments. Then came the quarantine bulk-up. Bryson basically tried to overpower golf by chasing speed and distance, and it kicked off this whole debate about whether the game is being stretched too far. And once he joined LIV, it added another reason people argue about him. So with Bryson, the controversy comes from every angle: how he plays, how long he takes, how he explains himself, and which side of golf split he's on. But there's still one player who tops him. Player number 1, Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed isn't the most controversial player because he says the wrong thing or celebrates too hard. He's the most controversial player because a lot of fans and players don't believe him. With most players, you can point to one storyline, one scandal, one meltdown, one decision. With Reed, it's layers. It's the cheating allegations and the rules controversies that never seem to stop following him. The improving his lie on the sand incident, plus the embedded ball and bunker incidents on tour. So even when a ruling goes his way, the crowd reaction is immediate suspicion. And that reaction doesn't come out of nowhere. There's a long trail of reputation behind him, going back to allegations and stories from his college days that never really disappeared. So when he finds himself in the spotlight now, the audience isn't giving him the benefit of the doubt. They look at him with suspicion. That's why Reed tops this list. Because being controversial is survivable. Plenty of great athletes are controversial. But being distrusted is different. Once fans stop trusting you, every explanation feels like damage control. And every win sparks a debate instead of a celebration.